Hey guys, so today I'll be doing a tutorial on how I paint acrylic paintings because some of you guys have been asking a tutorial on how I paint. This isn't a traditional step-by-step tutorial and I'm not even sure if I'm doing it right, and I'm fairly new to acrylics and have been experimenting, so this is a video on how I paint. I've been painting with oils for a really long time. That's actually the first medium I felt comfortable with. Well, except for pencils. But I'm really impatient and oils take so long to dry, so I tried using acrylics. Don't get me wrong, I love oils and will probably go back to using oils when I have the space for it. So the first thing I do is make a base sketch. I use a mechanical pencil from Muji, and I will link everything down the description box. Every time I draw, it's either I place a mirror beside me and use myself as a reference, or I use a photo and use that as a reference. And on this piece, I already have a vague idea on how the outcome should look like. I use a mirror to check if the sketch is wonky, and on this sketch, the right side looks wider than the left. Also, the lips and nose aren't centered, so I realign the lips and nose, check the mirror once again, and continued sketching. I'm not looking for perfection here, so it is okay if it's a little off. I like to add under eye shadow or eye bags and moles because I think it gives some character. When painting, I always start with the outline, just so I can have a guide. For the outline, as you can see, I don't use black because it's too harsh, so I mix Venetian rose and a tiny bit of neutral gray. I remember our professor giving us advice to not use black when painting for the same reason. It's a personal preference, I guess. I use Van Gogh's 5/0 brush size for the main outline, and for the tinier details like the lash, highlight, and the finishing touches, I use R2J Camden Pro Plata in the size 10/0. After the outline had dried, I erased the pencil sketch and started painting the shadows or the darkest part first to avoid the painting looking muddy. To the palette, I add all the skin colors that I'll be needing. For the shadows like the nose, under the lips, around the face, under the eyes, and the corners of the mouth, I mix unbleached titanium and Naples yellow reddish. For the base, I mix titanium buff light and light portrait pink. Adding a tiny bit of Naphthol Crimson. I'll be using that later for the lips, cheeks, and eyes. When I was in college, our teacher once told us not to paint the whites of our eyes stark white, so every time I paint the eyes, I always add a tiny bit of beige and pink. I know it's not the exact colors of our eyes because I'm not really aiming for a realistic colorway, I can say my color palette is on the pastel, muted side. I tried this new style where I blend the iris into the white parts of the eyes to give a softer look. Then I continue painting the rest of the shadows, mixing a bit of darker color to add depth and dimension. Next, I paint the base color. I use a filbert brush for the larger areas. Now, I'm not sure if this is the right way of painting, but this is how I do it, and this is what works for me. Adding a bit of red for the cheeks and across the nose. Again, I continued painting with the base and adding shadows until I'm satisfied, and I make the tips of the ears pink. I saw this in Norman Rockwell's painting, and I really like how it looks, so I incorporated it into my paintings. Now painting the highlights, I use titanium buff as my base highlight. Back to the pencil again to bring back some of the details I lost while painting. For the hair, I use Pastel Rose for the base and Persian Rose for the highlight, and I actually didn't use the sparkly one on the left. I used a mix of gray and pink for the roots, then I continued painting the hair. adding highlights once again, I mixed titanium, buff light, and white for the finishing touch. I dotted the tips of the nose, lips, forehead, upper lip, inner corners of the eyes, chin, outer corners of the mouth, center of the upper and lower lids, and dotted some more on the bottom waterline to give it a watery look. I'm all over the place when I paint. That's because I'm impatient. After I paint on one area, I jump to another while I wait for the paint to dry. And I don't have a specific paint by number steps, but I always do shadows first, then base, everything else, then highlights last. For the cheeks and lips, I use Faber-Castell watercolor pencil in 421. Okay, this is my favorite part, adding the shimmer. For this, I use Winsor&Newton's iridescent medium. I use an old Sakura No. 2 brush. I dilute the iridescent medium with water and paint it all over the eyes, mouth, and the highlighted parts. Now, this is new. I bought this yesterday and I'm trying it out for the first time. It's a Sakura Tiara pen, and I have to say, I really like it a lot. So I'm pretty sure I'll be using this pen in my future paintings. My second favorite part, adding lashes. I'm using the Muji mechanical pencil again to define the upper and lower lashes, the nose, the outer corners of the mouth, and on the moles. Also darkening the outer outline a bit and adding more details. And I think we're done. I'll have to scan and edit and probably make a separate video on how I color correct and edit my paintings using Photoshop because this video is already too long. Please do comment if you want to see a video like that, or you can suggest video ideas and I'll definitely make more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.